Welcome to the Man of Recaps. This is the Book of Boba Fett. In The Mandalorian Season 2, we found out that Boba Fett is alive. He survived the Sarlacc pit. You remember, in Return of the Jedi, he was knocked in there, and now we finally get the scene of his escape. He was supposed to be slowly digested over 1,000 years, but Boba Fett's not going out like that, and it's exactly what Star Wars superfans have been imagining for 30 plus years. Oh yeah, Boba crawls himself to freedom. So Boba Fett helped Mando rescue Baby Yoda, then came back to Jabba the Hutt's palace, where he killed the guy who took over, and with his new partner and best friend, Master Assassin Fennec Shand, he declared himself the new crime boss of Tatooine. So the Book of Boba Fett starts off there. What does being a crime boss entail? Well, mostly it's walking around town looking tough. He rolls up to bars like, "What's up, I'm in charge now," and collects his tribute money. Now Boba Fett's trying to be a good crime boss. He wants to rule with respect, not fear. Like with Jabba's old bodyguards, instead of killing them, he spares their lives and wins their loyalty. His partner Fennec Shand, though, not as forgiving. Whenever the choice comes up, her advice is normally kill him. And indeed, being honorable has its drawbacks, because immediately someone's making a move to assassinate him, and Boba Fett's gotta show that he's the baddest dude in town. This assassin's not saying who hired him, so they drop him through Jabba's trap door that leads to his Rancor pit, and that gets him talking real quick, although there's not actually a Rancor there anymore. Remember, Luke Skywalker killed it in Return of the Jedi. Turns out the assassin was hired by the mayor of Mos Espa, who has this assistant that is just absolutely so sassy in such a polite way. The mayor himself is this real weird-looking alien who somehow convinces Boba not to kill him. And Boba's got bigger problems because everyone wants his territory. In fact, a couple of Hutts show up. Yeah, they are the twins. They're like, "Yo, Jabba was our cousin and he left us Tatooine in his will." And they've brought an awesome enforcer with them. It's this badass black-haired Wookiee, Chrysanthemum. That night he sneaks in and rudely interrupts Boba Fett's bath time for a slippery bathroom fight, but he's defeated by the trap door. They get a lot of use out of that thing. So once again, Boba spares his life and recruits him to his team, and now the Hutts show up like, "Oh, our one assassination plan didn't work. That's about as much effort as we were willing to put into it." Plus they have some more news. Apparently the mayor promised Tatooine to another crime syndicate, and they don't want to deal with it. And since they're not going to use Jabba's palace, they give Boba Fett the replacement Rancor they bought. The Rancor trainer is of course Danny Trejo, and Boba Fett loves his new pet. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna ride this thing." So now Boba Fett goes to see the mayor again, and after some more delicious sass, this majordomo tries to escape. Conveniently, Boba Fett had just recruited a London streets cyberpunk scooter gang, and so it's time for an epic chase through the streets. Except, apparently, these bikes top out at 20 miles an hour, and this whole sequence is just awkwardly slow and bad. But in the end, they catch this guy, who reveals the mayor made a deal to give Tatooine to the Pike Syndicate. And Boba Fett knows these Pikes. In fact, every night during his healing bath, we get flashbacks to his time on the sands of Tatooine. After escaping the Sarlacc pit, the Jawas found him, took his armor, and left him for dead. Then it was the Sand People, the Tuskens, who realized he was alive. At first he was their prisoner, but when Goro from Mortal Kombat showed up, Boba Fett took him down, and they were like, "Yo bro, you're cool as hell, you're one of us now." And so Boba Fett learned the ways of the Tuskens. They gave him a lizard, which went up his nose and gave him a hallucination trip where he found a tree branch and made his own gaffy stick. But they were having trouble with the train coming through their land, so Boba Fett went to a bar and beat up a biker gang to take their speeders. So when the train came back, the Tuskens were ready, and it was a classic Western train heist. And this train was owned by the Pike Syndicate, who was transporting spice, the biggest drug of the Star Wars universe. Not to be confused with the spice from Dune, which is also a very valuable resource from a desert planet. Boba's like, "Hey, this is Tusken land now. If you're coming through, you gotta pay the toll." But the Pikes did not like that, and they paid the biker gang to massacre all of Boba's new friends. After that, as we know, Boba found an injured Fennec Shand and took her to the nearest doctor, who was less of a doctor and more of a back alley robot mod guy, which is why she has a robot stomach now. She helped Boba steal his old ship back so he could go finish off that biker gang. He also went back to the Sarlacc pit, like, digest this. Oh, Sonic boomed that thing. So his near-death experience and his time with the Tuskens have made Boba Fett rethink his life as a ruthless bounty hunter. He's like, I'm sick of working for scumbag crime lords. I think it's time for me to be the boss. And Fennec Shand's like, "Hell yeah, bro, I'm in." So now we're finished with bath time flashbacks. Boba Fett's nice and squeaky clean. He goes to the other crime families, like, "Let's unite against the Pikes," but they're like, "Nah, this is a you problem. We'll remain neutral though." So to win this war, they're gonna need help. But luckily, Boba Fett knows a guy. Yes, it's the Mandalorian. He's back to his old bounty hunting ways, and these days he's more Boba Fett than Boba Fett. And he's not here for just a cameo. He takes over 2 full episodes. It's basically the Mandalorian Season 2.5. He tracks down his old Mandalorian clan, led by the Armorer, who survived, but it's just her and this one other dude now. She's impressed he has the legendary Darksaber, which means he no longer needs his Beskar steel spear. He's like, "Hey, do you think magic, he can forge that into tiny little armor for baby Yoda. But Mando's actually having trouble using the Darksaber. It's weirdly heavy for him, and she's like, you're fighting against the blade, whatever that means. But then there's a problem when she's like, by the way, you ever take your helmet off? And he's like, well, I mean, yeah, there were extenuating circumstances though. It was a baby Yoda. But in this Mandalorian cult, there are no exceptions for tender moments, and Mando is kicked out. This is the way. So for now, Mando needs a new ship because the Razor Crest was destroyed last season, and his mechanic friends found a beauty for him. It is an old Naboo starfighter like from Star Wars Episode 1. They have a Fast and Furious souping up car montage, and now Mando's got an awesome chrome starfighter. What this thing lacks in trunk space, it makes up for in speed, and in true Fast and Furious style, it's even got a NOS button. Now Mando goes to visit his son at boarding school at Luke Skywalker's future Jedi Academy. And yes, we get to see Luke Skywalker training little Grogu. The little rascal's up to his usual tricks of trying to eat frogs. And the man himself, Luke Skywalker's here with a pretty good looking virtual face replacement, but a fake voice that still feels kinda stiff. But Mando doesn't get to see him. He's stopped by the other Jedi, Ahsoka Tano. She's like, hey man, I know you love him, but to be a Jedi, he's gotta leave his old life behind. You come to visit him is just gonna make that harder. And it's heart-wrenching, but Mando agrees it's for the best and decides to leave. But we the viewers don't leave. In fact, we get like a full 20 minutes of baby Yoda Jedi training. His first lesson is to learn to jump, which, oh my god, are you kidding? It's so cute. And pretty soon, wow, this guy's hopping around. Yeah, Mando can sell that stroller. But when Luke hears about Mando's visit, he's like, all right, little Grogu, I'm gonna give you a choice. You can have this super cute Beskar steel chainmail and go be a Mandalorian with your papa, or you can stay here and be a Jedi with Yoda's old lightsaber, which you're gonna have to grow into, I guess. But unfortunately, you can't have both, because that would be just way too cool. So finally, back to the show's main character, Boba Fett. Mando's here, but they still need more numbers. So Mando goes to his other friend on Tatooine, Cobb Vanth, the Marshal. But his folks just defend their town. Why should they get involved with a gang war? But Mando's like, hey, if we don't stop the Pikes now, they're gonna take over the whole planet. So he says he'll think about it, but 5 seconds after Mando leaves, a mysterious stranger coming in out of the desert. And if you've watched the Clone Wars animated series, this silhouette is immediately recognizable. It is the baddest of the bad bounty hunters, Cad Bane. He's been hired by the Pikes, and it's an old school Western standoff where, oh, shoots the Marshal. And so it's time for the grand finale with an all-out gang war. The first big problem is the other crime lords who promised to stay neutral. They cut a deal with the Pikes and ambush them, Godfather style, taking out all Boba's friends at the same time. So now Boba Fett and Mando are surrounded, way outnumbered, and it's time for their last stand at the OK Corral. Yes, Mando and Boba Fett teaming up, 2 versus an army, busting out their full arsenal of weapons. Yes! But no matter how cool they are, they're way outnumbered and are gonna go down, but luckily the folks from Freetown show up, here to avenge their marshal. Plus the Wookiee Chrysanthemum also survived. Oh yeah, he's awesome. Oh, and the Shiny Vespa gang survived too. But now we got a bigger problem, because the Pikes bring in a couple of epic war droids. They're fully shielded, you can't hurt these things. As Mando's retreating, he gets a ride from his mechanic friend, who came here to find him because she has a baby Yoda. Yes, little Grogu made his choice. He wants to be with his Papa Mando. Unfortunately, at the moment, they're in mortal danger, and things look bleak, but wait, what's this? It's the Rancor with Boba Fett riding it. All right. This thing is a beast, and working together, he and Mando take this thing out. Yes, the Rancor goes on a rampage, and very quickly, the battle is won. But now, Cad Bane shows up, and he ain't afraid of no Rancor, knows this thing's afraid of fire. So it's time for the final showdown between Cad Bane and Boba Fett. As bounty hunters, these two go way back. In fact, in the Clone Wars, like, they hung out when Boba was a kid. But Cad Bane's quicker on the draw. Oh, he's gonna take Boba out. But Boba Fett, oh, trips him up with the Tusken Gaffy stick, and a final fight. Go! Stabs him! I highly doubt they brought this character into live action just to kill him immediately, so maybe we'll see him again. But now there's another problem. Without Boba Fett here, the Rancor's out of control. But it's little Grogu who steps in there, proving he's the apex predator. The Rancor's kinda just a big frog. And he uses the Force to calm this thing down. And now together, they have a little nappy time. Now, Fennec Shand was notably missing from this whole finale. She bailed early, because she tracked down where the Pike leader and the other crime bosses were hiding, and out goes full full Punisher assassin mode. Her boss Boba's not here to show mercy, she takes them all out. And so the day is saved, and Boba Fett has earned his spot as the top crime boss of Tatooine, although he shuts down the spice trade and really isn't doing any crime, so he's more like the new mayor. And more good news, in an after the credit scene, the Marshal Cobb Vanth is in Boba's magic healing bathtub with the robot doctor, so looks like he'll survive with maybe new robot parts. So Boba Fett is ready to rule Tatooine with honor, while Mando and Baby Yoda are reunited, and that's where Book of Boba Fett comes to an end. If you like this recap, hit that subscribe button for more of the best recaps of TV and movies, and if you loved this recap, check out the join button and support the channel as a member.